Hello everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and this is going to be my first installment of, used bikes, and, because not everybody has the money all the time for a new bike whenever they're getting into everything like that. So a coworker has agreed to let me take out his 2009 Suzuki GS500F. Basically, these bikes were around for quite a long time. There's a available standard version, and then there's the full-fared version as well. Both of them are considered standard bikes. For what it's worth, it is a great-looking little bike. This is a 500, well, actually, it's going to be a 487cc carbureted engine. You'd be looking at about 51.3 claimed horsepower from Suzuki, something like 30.4 foot-pound of torque as well. And you see, it's chain driven, gear driven on the inside, unit construction engine basically. So you can see here, it's a pretty simple motorcycle. Since it is carbureted, you are going to have a choke on board. Pretty simple handlebars and everything like that. On off switch, start button, bright selector, horn, and turn signals here, and all that good stuff. You have oil indication, neutral, left-right indication, bright select, tachometer, speedometer, regular analog odometer. Nothing special, but great looking little bike. So a lot of people kind of look at these bikes. These are currently found online anywhere from $3,000 below, basically. Some of them do get up there a little bit more, but not necessarily should be paying that price for it if you look at the blue book on these things. So anything from $3,000 below is what this one usually goes for. This particular model has gone 9,073 miles, so we'll take it out here just for a spin, and I'll give you some thoughts on the bike as it rides. It's not a bad little bike at all. It does have a 6-speed gearbox. The seat height is 31 inches, so around an inch of 300 or so, and it's a lot peppier than that little 300. The little 487cc is an air oil cooled mix, so it's not going to be as refined in terms of the cooling and things like that as the Ninja 300. However, it runs smoother. It's not as buzzy, that's for sure. It's actually a really pleasant motorcycle to ride. Sitting position is, like I said, standard position. Not an aggressive bike at all. Very smooth though. I'm very impressed with it, despite the fact that it's got about 9,000 miles on it and some things like that. So we're going to be taking it to the highway here in a moment. It's just going to be one of the back highways. It won't be the major interstate, but you can still get a good idea, because you're still doing 65 or so, of how fast it can get there, and how stable it is and everything. But overall, I mean, this little guy is pretty dang stable. I do quite like it. Engine braking is not that great though. That's something to note there. Very light bike. I think it only weighs about 484 pounds, I think, fully wet. I'll put that in the description below, what it exactly weighs. But I mean, it's very, very light. I'm used to Harleys and other bigger cruisers and things like that anyway. I mean, my only light bike is that little XT250, and that little puppy's 291 pounds. So, give or take a couple pounds there, and that one's a pleasant one as well. I mean, when you ride it, I mean, I'm not really in twisties or anything like that, and I'm going to take it up to an area where you can taste the cornering of it. But when you're just riding around, it's still compliant. Very nice and compliant. Nice and compliant. I have to say, 7-year-old bike, and it doesn't feel like it's 7 years old, that's for sure. It does have a 5.3 gallon gas tank, carbureted like I said, so you have the reserve switch and stuff on the sides. Reserve will get you around probably about 40 miles or so before you need to fill up. This bike is said to get about 53 miles per gallon and runs on regular 87 octane, so you don't have to purchase the premium crap like you do on a Harley. Makes that pretty cheap to own. Being that it's a 500 or 500 class, 47, you don't really have to worry too much about it at all in terms of the insurance costs and everything like that, especially if you're a young rider. you know, you're only a middleweight, so you don't really have to worry too terribly much about going the super sport class or anything like that by getting a 600 or 650 or any of those. So I mean, and like I said, it is a standard bike, not even a sport bike. Front fairing does offer some decent protection of the wind. It comes up and, you know, kind of gets you right in the middle of the helmet the way the windshield's shaped, but it doesn't provide much buffeting. It's actually not that bad at all. It's very pleasant. This bike is equipped with single brakes on the front, single disc brakes, single disc on the rear. And let's see, I'll test the braking here on the next stop sign and let you know how that is. Engine braking, like I said, is not the best. But if you have a panic situation, let's see how this works. Suspensions is nice and compliant too. You can see this road's pretty broken, and you know, it takes it pretty dang good. Takes it really well. Very, very comfortable. I'm actually very surprised at how well this bike has held up. I mean, like I said, 9,000 miles is not too terribly much. All right, let's do this braking thing here. Boom! Oh, brakes are good. Just solid, not spongy at all. They grab really well. Way to go, Suzuki. Way to go, Suzuki. I'm really enjoying this bike. I mean, despite its age and all that. Ergonomics are really well. I mean, don't have to reach out too much. The clutch is feather light, one finger. I mean, it's beautiful. Beautifully set up for an old girl. So just kind of the city stop-go traffic and everything like that. Great little commuter bike, that's for sure. It'll take you around the city in comfort. You got enough power to get away from traffic, definitely for sure. Don't have to worry about getting stuck. If you're going to be lane splitting, it's pretty narrow. So you can get through and lane split and do pretty good, and to be able to run away from the traffic at the front of it, so you don't have anything to worry about there. Really wish Oklahoma could lane split, but you know, whatever. So if you're one of those states, you know, the only thing you might have to look out for is the mirrors are kind of wide. Great visibility on the mirrors though. You can see out of them just fine because they are wider. And of course that nice long oval shape, that looks pretty good. That does actually very well. So let's get to the highway. And yeah, when it comes to riding this bike on the highway, you know, through the city it was great. You know, it doesn't vibrate too bad or anything like that. When you're on a nice 2-lane highway out here, we do have a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit. So, you know, you get up there and you get a pretty good close estimate to what it would be like on the interstate. And you know what? It's a nice soft bike still. Wind protection is pretty dang good still. The only thing is you get a little bit of wind noise because you do, you know, have it coming right at the helmet, but it doesn't cause any buffeting or anything like that. Just a little bit of extra noise on the top of it, but not bad at all. Protects you pretty good all the way around. There's a nice dead spot right through here that I don't feel anything, so great highway bike and everything like that. You know, I wish I could have got it up to Crescent for the twisty area, but unable to do so. We've kind of got some limited time. I've got a friend that's got something he's got to go to, and I'm borrowing his bike, of course. So, you know, when you look at it, this bike, very, very, very flickable, very good turning bike. You know, steering head's real nice and tight despite the 7-year-old thing. You know, I mean, like I said, this is a great put-together bike. Held up very well. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever it comes down to, you know, if you're looking for a bike that's a good used bike, you know, you can look at a Suzuki GS500F. Great power for the highway. You know, it's got enough power. It will get you in trouble if you want it to, but not in bad trouble. Just good enough trouble. I think the top speed on this, when I read about it, was about 110 or so, or 105. So it's not incredibly top speed heavy, but it is a good, competent bike. Great on the highway. Still has good pull. You know, whenever it comes down to it. Now, when going up this hill, you do have to downgrade to 5 to get it to go up the hill better with the pull, but 6th gear is pretty good, handles very well. So, I mean, truck went by, I didn't get any, you know, floating motion or anything like that, or blown over. You know, it's got good enough weight that it doesn't have any problems at all. I love this bike, actually. So, When it comes out to it, this is a Rabid Hedgehog approved bike for sure. If you're looking for a good used bike, like I said, this is an 09 version, but they made these things pretty much the same since about 04. So if you find anything from 04 to 09, then you're gonna get a good bike. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. If you have any questions about the Suzuki GS500F, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to try to do as many used bikes as I can do. I'm not necessarily going to be able to do all of them because it's whatever becomes available to me to play with. This is just the first one I was able to do, and hopefully I can keep this series going as well. Catch you on the flip side, folks.